shortly. Please stand by. The podcast will begin 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 shortly.
Testing. Testing. Now that I have your attention, there's something I need to share with you. There's been quite the stir going around that Alpen Fury may not be open in time for the event. Now, don't you fret. I'm here to tell you. Coasters After Dark will be taking place on May 28th and May 29th, and it is my official prediction. Alpen Fury will be opening on Victoria Day. Now that I've calmed your minds, sit back and prepare for the podcast. I heard this is a really good one. Something about major investments and some big announcement for 2027.
Testing.
Hello. Soleil.
Pull them out.
Yeah.
Oh! Pass the mic.
We're sorry. We tried something here. It didn't work.
we got the signal from Jake to put our mics on our mic sticks.
We tried putting our mics.
What?
It's okay.
Is it working?
Yeah, it works.
Is the audio okay, guys?
Is it good?
You're not in the middle.
Who's
I'm
not
not.
in the middle?
What do you mean I'm not in the middle?
That's okay.
That's as middle as it gets for us.
We're upsetting Jake.
We're upsetting.
How was your week?
You know what? My week was pretty fantastic, and I'm going to tell you why it was fantastic.
Sorry, the podcast is playing in my ear. Give me a second. There we go.
You know why my week was fantastic, and your week should be fantastic too, because of this one reason.
You got to hang out with me. You went shopping with me.
Okay. You know what? Before I tell you why it was actually fantastic, we've been doing laps at Von Mills every single day for like the past 2 weeks, and I'm not even exaggerating, guys. Each day, I've convinced Brendan to buy something new.
Okay, guys, help me here, please. When you have friends, right? Are they not supposed to talk you out of buying expensive things?
Okay, but it made him happy. He wanted these things, and he was doubting himself. So I'm like, no, go buy it.
A $400 Lego set, and this guy's like, it's sitting in my closet.
Yeah, where's the Lego set? He's like, I'll buy it for the podcast. Where is it? But that's okay, because it made him happy buying it.
And now every day we go to Von Mills, he tries to encourage me to buy something.
Guys, we are going to get him to buy the most beautiful Coach backpack before Wonderland starts.
I don't need it. I have a Coach.
I'll bet you $10 I can do it by next week.
Backpacks on rides, which is breaking news.
Okay. Before we get into that, let me tell you why I'm actually really happy.
Okay.
Because we fit in Alpen Fury!
We do. We fit in Alpen Fury. It's crazy.
That was actually a really big stress. That was taken away from
They had
us.
the orange tape, the clearance. Okay, because first of all, my thoughts, we were walking up to the ride and I saw the staircase to get on. I was immediately panicking. We were in a large group. Mm-hmm. I have the most social anxiety you could ever imagine. And I was like, if I status in front of everyone here, I'm going to run out of this event crying.
And you know what? First glance at the trains, they're pretty narrow. You know what I mean? Like, they're not like these B&M trains that are like 30 feet wide. No, these are like petite, skinny trains. There's a reason for that. We can get into that later. But, you know, it didn't look that forgiving. But when we actually got on it, you know, it takes a little bit of wiggle room to get on it. But when we sit down, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah. No, it was comfortable. Truthfully, it is. If you watch my video today, my throat is tingling. I choked on water right before the podcast.
It's true. It's pretty funny.
It is hard to get into like other premier trains. Especially me being a bigger guy and a taller guy, you know, I had to do the awkward shuffle where you're holding your pants up so you're not mooning anyone behind you. But in the restraint, it's comfortable.
Once you've seated and you pull down the U-bar, it's actually not that bad. It is bucket seats, but they're really nicely contoured, like to your back and like, you know, like your butt and stuff. Like there's the seat itself, I would say probably has a little bit more room than Leviathan. The only thing is just getting into the seat.
Yeah. But what do you think? I want you to go into detail. I had Surya write a paragraph for me for a voiceover I'm going to do tomorrow. But explain to the audience right now about this unique design on the train.
Okay, so this is okay, guys. This is a long one. So there's a reason, right, that Premier builds their trains the way they do. And I know people will say, well, it's like a sardine can, whatever. It's very narrow. The trains are very narrow. But you look at the layout of Alpen Fury, right? Or even a lot of other Premier rides like Full Throttle or West Coast Racers. You see those tight dynamic turns that they do that not a lot of other rides can do a turn the way like the Premier does it, right? Like the way the track is twisted. And we really saw that on the tour, the way the Extreme Skyflyer loop is going to be. And that all comes down to the trains, right? Like the B&Ms, for instance, they have really big trains. They have wider trains. They have longer trains. But the thing is, when you have a longer train with a bigger wheelbase, specifically the wheelbase and the way the axles are designed, you can't really do those tight maneuvers. Put it this way. It's like trying to do a U-turn in a transport truck versus like, you know, a smart car. Obviously, whatever has the smaller wheelbase will be able to do the tighter maneuver, the tighter turn. And that's exactly what Premier goes for when they build these dynamic layouts. More specifically, these trains, you know, the chassis is very similar to like the Skyrocket 2s and stuff where it's not trailered. And what that means is there is 2 axles per train, right? There are 2 fixed axles per train, unlike Leviathan, Behemoth, and Yukon, which only has 1 set of wheels per car because it's relying on the car behind it to give it the support. But with the Premier trains, no, they are 2 fixed axles. So the front axle is completely fixed. It can't move. The only thing that can move are the bogies, like on any standard roller coaster. But the back axle, the wheel carriers can move, so the bogies can move, and the back axle is actually allowed to articulate and pivot omnidirectionally. So that means it can pivot in almost a 360-degree direction, any way like that, while it's still a part of the chassis. which allows these trains to do some extremely tight maneuvers because you have the stability of 2 axles on one train car. So you have that extra reinforcement, but then you have that freedom and the maneuverability of a train that's trailered, right? So you can go through, you know, these elements at 100 kilometers per hour and not even feel a single vibration.
That's insane. And that's something Premier did say to us when we went to IAPA. Well, when I sent someone to film for us, they told the person that this was going to be a really smooth ride compared to other coasters out there. And on top of that, it was going to maintain its pacing throughout the course. And does that design help with those?
That design 100% helps with it, because if you look how narrow the train is, there's going to be a lot less wind resistance, right? Because you have a wider train, you have more surface area, there's going to be more air resistance, more air friction. So these smaller trains will be able to cut through essentially the air a lot quicker, and the construction of the train also helps. Now, obviously, compared to Leviathan's trains, these trains are a lot lighter, but for what the train is doing, they're actually fairly front heavy, which is a good thing. That's something you want, right? Because it's solid. When we were sitting in it, was front heavy. I knew that was coming. But that's something you want because it helps maintain momentum, and it's just a really good build quality. And again, like, you know, the trains, it was all steel, it was all aluminum, it was all like forged and milled. There was very little fiberglass, there was very little plastic. It felt very strong. Like, these trains are designed to take a lot of forces without exhibiting any of the negative traits like the rattle, the vibration, the loss of speed. I don't know if you guys know this. If you go beyond 90 degrees, a lot of trains will lose speed quicker than staying on a level track, because then you have more points of contact on the wheels, right? So there's going to be more friction. But the cool thing about Alpen Fury's trains is the upstop wheels, it's only one wheel per wheel carrier. So you're eliminating half of the friction when you're doing an element.
Yeah. That's insane.
So everything about this is engineered to maintain momentum and maintain smoothness.
And the footage doesn't really do it justice. So for those of you who have watched or have known Surya for a bit, he wasn't too excited about this ride for a while. You weren't.
No, I wasn't.
Like, truthfully. But after yesterday, I want, like, explain your thoughts on Alpen Fury. Like, genuinely. Not brainwashed by me or anything, you know?
No. Honestly, I think we all kind of had the same thoughts. Like, yeah, we see it from the parking lot, or, you know, Brendan's really good, like drone footage and stuff. But when you're right up next to it and you see them moving the track around, you see the profiling of some of the elements, the columns, how many columns there are, their footings and stuff, you can get a new appreciation for it. And it just even like, let's take out the ride elements alone, the amount of near miss elements on this ride is that's gonna be crazy. Like, I know I'm gonna be riding hands up, hands down, hands up, hands down.
Yeah.
But the profiling, like the way, you know, some of the curves are, the way some of the inversions are shaping out to be, it is so extremely tight. The clearances are very like it's just right there, and it's going to be one after another after another. And when we were walking back towards the mountain, the like wave turn or outer extreme bank turn, like the way it's profiled, the way it's designed and engineered, like there's a little, it almost looks like a kink, but it's not a kink, it's smoothed out, right? But every little part of it, like when it does that, is designed to maximize that ejector airtime.
Mm-hmm. It's insane. The launch. Can we talk about the launch for a second? It is so small, guys. When you look and you're in there, it is about, would you say, like 100 feet?
Maybe 120 at most.
Yeah.
At most.
And to get us up and out of the mountain, how, like, that acceleration rate?
That's going to be absolutely insane. So the launch is definitely shorter than Maverick's. And if you guys have ever ridden Maverick, you know how punchy that launch is. Our launch is shorter than that. So we're going to be rolling into the launch probably at about 40 kilometers per hour. But we're only going to have, let's say, of actual launch time. So that's the amount of time the train will spend fully in the LSMs, maybe 100 feet of launch time. So you will have 100 feet, which, to put in perspective, is pretty much 2 school buses or 2 city buses beside each other, like one in front of the other. So you will have that difference, that distance, to go from 40 kilometers to 115 kilometers per hour, which, that rate of acceleration, yeah, you're gonna feel that in your stomach.
It's
you're
gonna punch.
feel,
Yeah.
And the sound that's like, oh, it's going to be so
And the park
good.
keeps teasing this special effect in the tunnel that they don't want anyone to know until.
Yeah, it's going to be cool
Yeah,
too.
I'm
The
excited.
whole atmosphere is going to be cool. And even when they enclose it too, you know, you're going to get that illusion of speed because when it's darker, things feel faster. Like, you know, it's 115 kilometers an hour, so it's not slow, but it is going to feel a lot faster than that.
And you were saying something about it possibly being a top 5 ride out there.
I was okay. I remember what was it, like 3 podcasts ago? You said, you know, this could be better than Pantheon and Maverick, and I was like, excuse me. I bit his head off for like 20 minutes.
I'm usually right, except for when it comes to Wonderland's exact future predictions. You know. So what I've learned is you just gotta take what I'm saying. And take
Trust the process.
Trust the
Trust
process.
the process.
So if I say we're getting a Giga Dive, we're getting a dive. If I say we're getting an Intamin launch coaster, we're getting a launch coaster.
It's half right all the time.
If vertical construction's starting on Monday, it's starting on Tuesday.
Yeah, to be honest, 100% honesty, I think this is going to be up there with Maverick, with Pantheon, maybe even with Velocicoaster. Are the trains, at the end of the day, whatever you think, but like with the layout and the way some of the elements are designed, especially when you really look at it, like, okay, I'm saying that Extreme Skyflyer loop is probably going to be one of the most intense elements in the world on anything, and that includes the Mosasaurus roll on Velocicoaster.
Wow.
I think it's going to compete with that.
It's so sharp.
It's
literally like, wah, and then you're vertical down and pulling out.
And I can't believe I'm going to say this. It's going to hurt to say. Unlike the B&Ms, you're going to take this element with speed.
And grace. Behemoth would rattle itself to
Leviathan would
valley.
Yukon Striker.
And Yukon Striker would be like a wing coaster. Yeah, it wouldn't make it over there.
No, I think with the way this ride has been profiled and designed, and, you know, I'm sure the longevity of this ride is going to be... I think this ride is going to, in terms of like mechanical, like the mechanical aspect, like the smoothness and stuff like this, I think this ride is going to age really well. So I definitely think we could have a top 5 like world attraction on our hands here.
Period.
That'll hurt.
All right. Now, some of you, just a small amount of you, have been emailing me, messaging me, commenting on my videos about Alpen Fury. So the Alpen Fury event is May 28th and May 29th.
That's going to be a combined 5 hours of VRT that you pulled off. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's going to be a good event. We are working really hard. I'm being instructed to pull the mic away from me. We are working really hard to make this the best event ever. So there's some few surprises we're working on. But with that said, a lot of you are concerned based off of the construction tour that we just got, rightfully so. Is the ride going to be ready for the event, and what happens if the ride isn't ready for the event? Well, obviously, I was one step ahead of you guys. You know, at the event, I pulled park officials aside, and I asked their opinion. You know, would the park even have this available to rent out if it wasn't expected to be available? What can I do if it's not? Blah, blah, blah. I already had it worked into the contract that if Alpen Fury wasn't ready, we could push back the event. So just to ease your mind there, let's say they need to add a trim because this ride is so forceful, which is something we've talked about. That will obviously cause a delay. Or if the TSSA is dicks, like they were for Brandon.
Oh my God, that was so out of pocket.
Pardon my language, but they were like that with Behemoth. They had
were,
a huge issue with the clamshell restraint, if anyone remembers that. And they need to add comfort collars, which they won't, by the way. I'm just throwing random stuff out there. Then Alpen Fury will be delayed.
Yep.
And the event will be delayed with it. The event will happen regardless. It's worked into the contract, so you guys don't have to worry about that. But we have some good news.
Really good news.
We have really good news. It is my official prediction, and that's how I can word it, that Alpen Fury will be most likely opening for the Victoria Day long weekend, and it will be ready for our event on May 28th and May 29th. So if all goes well, nothing happens, because things can happen.
Yeah.
But based off of current timeline, it will be ready for the event. Now, if they need to add something to it that needs to be manufactured and stuff, that's when things get a little tricky. But the event will happen no matter what. We're not going to walk in and have only Leviathan. I think that's what some of you are worried about, that we're going to have to hold the event on those days regardless without Alpen Fury. That's not what's going to happen.
And we're still getting the 2 hours. So
yes, we're still going to get the 2 hours.
that's my ERT.
And yeah, so I'm excited. I ordered stuff for the event, not the t-shirts. I ordered something for the event. That should be coming in about 3 weeks. I'm excited.
There's something I actually want to ask you. Mm-hmm. And this is so kind of random. It's like a Q&A with Brendan. This is obviously your first time doing anything like this. What's been the hardest part of this?
The event?
Yeah. In your opinion. Not the most stressful, but the hardest thing to actually pull off.
The ticketing system. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
There was one day I almost gave up. And JD is a huge help. JD is someone in Discord that's become a friend through the internet, and he is so helpful. He helped me figure out a really good platform. But essentially, the ticketing system and the fees they would charge you guys, like some of these people out there are like 10% fees, 12% fees. And then, obviously I can't take the hit, so then I'd have to charge it to you. So this new one is great because it's a 4% fee and then the taxes and all that. It was the cheapest one, and they work with you. So, for example, if you guys bought a ticket, it immediately became available for me to pay for the event. Whereas some of those things were like, well, we'll give you your funds 7 days after the event, which is interesting because Wonderland also doesn't take payment until 7 days after the event either. So obviously there's some sort of event rules that but I feel really uncomfortable with other people's money in my bank account, and I have worked out an arrangement to pay Wonderland now. So the event's paid for. It's going to be paid for actually this week. We're just waiting on a bank draft, a big bank draft.
Yes.
To arrive to pay for the event. I wanted to pay for it well in advance because I don't know, I feel icky or dangerous, or I'm like, what if something happened? It's other people's money. I can't play around with that. So I made it so I pay before instead of the 7 days after. Yeah, too scary. That was something else JD taught me. JD was like, if someone got into your account, blah, 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 and then you have to pay these people back if you can't pay Wonderland, so then you're left with a double debt. So it's scary. So I was like, pay now, please.
It's it's crazy to think all these things, especially for the first time, right? Doing something like this, and you've really spearheaded this, obviously, and all the obstacles you have to overcome, and now that especially even after those reassurances and stuff hey, these are the dates, everything's most likely going to be good to go. That has to feel like watching a child or something grow up, right? The dream you had is now we are so guys. It's not even 2 months away. It's 50 days away?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's 50 days away until
scary.
We're all there. All 250 of us are there together riding Alpen Fury. That's crazy.
And the event sold out. So I was very pushy. And again, I was pushy because I want to make payment to Wonderland. Mm-hmm. So I was very pushy, and you guys were very responsive. It sold out. Other events take right up to the event to sometimes you even get an audience in, but you guys were so supportive. You literally sold out May 29th so quickly, and it's May 28th is already up to 100 tickets already. So
that's actually crazy.
Yeah. So 350 people have bought tickets to this event, or 350 tickets, I guess I'll word it that way, have been sold to this event.
And we can promise you that not one person will be disappointed with Alpen Fury.
No.
Because that ride looks absolutely insane.
It's going to be amazing. The only thing I want to stress is patience during ERT.
And that's
because it's only one major roller coaster, and there's the 250 of you. That's different for the May 29th, the ERT. You may only be able to get 3 to 5 rides on it. So,
you say that now, but if you think about the regular season when the line's going to be 2 hours long, 3 to 5 rides in 1 hour is going to be damn.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great event.
It's great. We're talking about other events, a season ender.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
that will be more fun. Lots of Alpen Fury. Lots of Alpen Fury.
I wanted to do one on the very last day you can buy an event, just to goodbye season. Yes, so I am going to stop communicating about May 29th to the general audience now. We are creating an email base for everyone who bought tickets, any information like the parental agreement forms, the code of conduct, rules on top of the code of conduct, instructions on what to do that day. They'll all go out to your email, but in about a month. So in about 30 days, all that stuff will go out. Right now, I'm focused on getting the T-shirts in order. That's another hard thing because we thought we found a Canadian provider, and I was really excited about it, but they're just very difficult. Canadian companies, no offense, they're really difficult to work with. Like, it's American companies, you can do it all on the website. It's ready to go. Canadian companies are like, send us this, then send us that. They take like 4 days to respond. And you're like, okay, well, this is a big order. You don't want this order? Sure. Like, are you crazy? And it's just, it's been really that's been another hard thing. It sucks having American companies want your money and be like, yeah, you want that? We'll do that. You want this added on? Yeah, we'll do that.
It's almost like they streamline it on purpose and target outside.
Yes, and then the Canadian companies are like, oh, yeah, we want your money, but
we don't want to work for
it. Yeah, you want 2 logos on this shirt? That's really complicated. And then the American company's like, that's so easy, we'll do it. It's difficult. I want to use a Canadian company, but I'm still trying to find. I haven't given up, don't worry. But yeah.
So, in other words, the event should be one of the best events at Wonderland.
Hopefully. And I say hopefully out of fear, not that it is. Wonderland has crafted a very good event for me, and we've crafted a very good event. And yeah,
looking forward to it. I was going to say something else. It's Alpen Fury related. I can't remember.
Alpen Fury related.
Should we talk about how the tour went?
You go for it. Start it off.
Let's talk about how the tour went. It was very, very gracious of the park to do that. We're very grateful for that. It was a really good tour, well organized, and a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff and just things that most people wouldn't get to see on your day-to-day of the construction process of a roller coaster. And I just want to say something so funny, and it was actually in the intro to this video. So we walked in, we went to the front gate, they had the train set up, they were doing some press releases and stuff with the news, and then a flatbed came by carrying a piece of Alpen Fury track right on cue, and Brendan's like, is that a paid actor?
And all the Wonderland people were laughing.
Yeah, that was really funny, but they later installed that track. I want to say something, and then I want you to see what you think about it.
Okay.
So everyone knows, you walk into Wonderland, you go through the front gate, there's the huge floral flag, the water fountain, and then the mountain. You have all the shops and restaurants and stuff on either side of International Street. But guys, the left side of International Street looks completely different, not in the sense that they're renovating the buildings or tearing anything down, but just with Alpen Fury right there, it is running completely parallel to the left side of International Street, and you see these huge columns. If you ever saw it from the parking lot or the drone footage, it does not do it justice when you're up close about how actually massive these elements are, and it's all just protruding out. And I know every ride Wonderland has added, Leviathan, Behemoth, Yukon, has changed the landscape, but that was almost more the outside of the park. Yukon Striker was in the middle of the lake, whatever, but this ride interacts with so many paths and stuff, and there are going to be so many interactions with guests, oh my God, look, there goes a train. That's the same train. It's definitely changed the feel of what Wonderland looks like. What do you think about that?
Well, right when you walk past Thunder Run, you walk past Thunder Run and you pass just that envelope with the waterfall.
Yep.
Alpen Fury, the animation and the drone again the drone's great. Okay, we get to see it, but the ride it doesn't do it justice.
It really
does not do it justice. It's a lot taller than it looks in the animation and the drone footage. It's a lot lower than it looks in the drone footage and the animation. And that one clearance envelope between heading it towards the 9th inversion and then coming out of the double head.
How? That looks crazy.
How?
And then even the inversion going in between vortex or going to vortex, like how close you actually get to the track, that it's really impressive that they were able to put something like this in there. And I want to say something else, because I was actually thinking about this morning when I was going and looking back at photos and stuff, and they didn't really say anything about this, and this is just all what I personally think and see, and and I used to say this too, well, Alpen Fury is never going to open, blah blah blah, but no, if you think about it, the complexity of something like this, right, like Leviathan and Behemoth especially, they were just built on flat level ground. All you needed were the tower cranes, and then it's just plug and play. Even Yukon Striker, yeah, they had to dig the tunnel and stuff, but the amount of work, like when we walked into the mountain, guys, and how big it was is crazy, but how intricate it is. Like, it's just webs of steel and steel decking and concrete everywhere. Like, the fact that they were able to put, that launch and then the top hat, 163-foot element in the middle of the mountain, in my opinion, is a feat of like engineering itself. Like, that alone has probably been more like complicated than designing all of like Leviathan.
Well, they had to, if you really look at the footage closely, and I'll make a detailed analysis, there's a whole other level that they built in there available now. So not only do you have Alpen Fury and all that, there's a whole deck, and he was talking about enclosing it once they've done building the launch.
Yeah.
Now they're going to finally, and there's a whole available level up there, whatever they're going to use it for. They obviously set a ride during our last tour. I think, Jake, you were there for that. They said it was going to be a dark ride eventually. But the amount of new steel that they've had to put in there, we've been talking, and even I've been getting frustrated some days. I'm like, why? Like, they when they first started, you guys remember, it would be like, oh my God, there's 6 pieces today installed, and then now it's like 1 piece, like thing, and then. Then out of nowhere, they busted their ass off the last 2 days again. And then Peter finally explained to us, because, we're seeing the track arrive, and normal track shipments, everything arrives pretty quickly. Well, Peter explained, there's some track shipments that are yet to arrive. And that's why they've slowed down, or they've built in weird segments. Yeah. They're trying to install what they can while they wait for other important pieces. So... yeah, unfortunately, that's been a lot of the slowdown, and then we had a bad winter for the first time in a bit. Yeah. It was a genuine winter.
A lot of snow.
Like, there was that week and a half where I don't think they did much at all. And there were track pieces, I think, buried under some stuff. But, yeah, so now that they're essentially, just to explain what's going on right now, they've installed the supports for the launch today inside the mountain, and if you're on Patreon, you can see a bit of that. And tomorrow, fingers crossed, based off of timeline that we heard, they're going to install the launch inside the mountain, and you guys will get an update from me tomorrow, obviously, about that. And then, starting on Monday, which means Tuesday...
of next week.
According to Peter, starting on Monday, but take it with a grain of salt and assume it's going to be Tuesday, they will be starting the process to install the double inverted top hat with a crane. We learned that, with a crane.
Yes, they will definitely need a crane for that, as those are the heaviest and biggest sections of the track.
Yeah, so
with a crane.
I'm excited for that, because right now, thank God, my new drone, it can see stuff in the tunnel. But we're going to lose sight of that once they install 1 piece of the launch. Then I can't see anymore.
But that'll be good, because that means there's at least some launch in there.
Unless I want to get kicked off the media list and fly the thing into the...
No, we don't do that.
Darien Lake will be my home park. Oh, I wouldn't be allowed there either.
The 9 parks you wouldn't be allowed to go to. Your King's Dominion would be looking
Surya,
really nice.
Do you want to come to LaRonde?
Yeah, absolutely not.
But no, it's going to get really exciting once they're done that, because then they're going to install the stall and whatever that other element is called.
I don't know, double sidewinder loop, ice winder loop.
Jake doesn't even know.
It's it's like a barrel roll in one direction and then
yeah. I don't think it has a name. It has a name, but it doesn't have one of the
something.
Or
an ice winder roll.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Kaden. But this ride is really exciting. Oh, did you guys watch the interview? First of all, did you guys, watch the interview with Grace? Because Grace dropped some bombshells in there, and if you're a puzzle builder, you can piece together some puzzles. So I want to know in the comment section. Jake will read some good ones out. What do you think the next 2 to 3 years is like at Canada's Wonderland? What do you think's happening next year, based off of what Grace said in that interview? Because Grace, she didn't say anything, but she said everything. So she did a little.
She's excited.
And if you watch my reaction, I wasn't expecting it. She dropped some tea.
Big upgrades in med, hotel, time warp replacement, coaster replacement.
Oh, come on, guys, read through the lines. It was right there for you. Come on, someone in here's got to know. What?
Water attractions going in time warp spot.
Okay, I can see why some people would think that. And there's a.
Flat ride. Sprite game is being removed.
If that's still there.
Yes, please.
A new restaurant, parking lots, hotel, another coaster, moving flight deck to time warp spot.
Okay, some of you need a little handheld to get through this a little bit by the sounds of it.
Flat ride,
So basically, if you paid attention, it happened over, I think, the span of 2 to 3 questions that she kind of pieced together this puzzle a little bit. We learned that Alpenfest will not come with its full theming package this year. And
Multi-year expansion.
yes, and that it's not done, and it's going to be a multi-year expansion, and that it is the current focus was her keyword. It's the current focus. So it's not like Frontier Canada where they build it, stopped, and moved on to something else. So by the sounds of it, I'm a little salty about them not ending. Like they literally gave up over by Whitewater Canyon and Timberwolf Falls.
Yeah, they're like, that's enough of this.
But so what that suggested was because she said the festivals and all that were coming the next year. So we know that Alpenfest is a part of our 2026 investments. So I'm going to ask you guys another question. What does Wonderland typically do when they build a water attraction?
RMC time warp.
A water slide. Water attraction. What does Wonderland typically do? Do.
Restaurant.
Nope. Do.
An event. Water slide plus theming.
Could Wonderland be?
New water coaster. RMC taxi cab.
My God. What if that new level on the mountain was for a restaurant, though?
Throw up the flat ride.
Flat ride. There we go. So typically, when Wonderland invests in the water park, we see some sort of in-park, dry park investment. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a flat ride, but typically we've seen hand in hand a flat ride with that. And I think that bumper cars, honestly, if I was to make this is a prediction, by the way. This isn't me. Take this with like not even a grain of salt, a whole Himalayan salt mountain or whatever. Bumper cars is probably going to get removed and replaced with something. How do bumper cars fit into Alpenfest with the villagers and all that?
That's true.
Like let's
Crashing wagons, they can say.
They also need some spot for Oktoberfest and all that, and Alpenfest would be the perfect for that. So I think that's what Grace was insinuating with event space and restaurants and all that.
So do you think they could get rid of bumper cars and put like a little pavilion there or something?
There's a chance, right? It faces over the lake. It's got that
that would be
beautiful
nice.
patio
Yeah.
space.
Swing.
Yeah.
No,
Remove Shockwave
no more
and
flat
put a
rides.
scream and sling there.
Shockwave would not be.
But what I honestly think is that 2027, and it's not what you guys think, could be a really major expansion. I think Grace said that they had a big announcement coming about Time Warp Spotland and what it was going to be used for later this year.
HOTEL.
Now, I'm sticking to this commitment. Surya's going to give you his opinion in a second.
Oh, yes, I am.
Because he disagrees with me. But I honestly think that you're going to hear. We've seen it with other parks. You've seen it with other parks. where they announce our biggest investment in history, $250 million are being invested into Canada's Wonderland over the next 2 years. And you're going to see a hotel pop up in Kingswood. And then you'll see the water coaster. I know, everyone hates me for this.
Why? No. Why? Nobody wants it. Every comment is angry.
You know what? I'm going to book every room.
Okay, yeah. What's the
It's
next?
going to be my castle.
Well, what's coasting
and
after
I'll live
dark?
in there like the evil queen from Disney.
Coasting After Dark in 2027 will feature 2 hours of hotel ERT.
Period. Hold me to it. I will
Oh my
do it.
god.
I will do. We'll book the whole hotel. Coasters After Dark. So Surya, what do you think's gonna happen over the next 2 years, based off of the interview and everything?
Do you want my honest opinion?
Honest
opinion.
Honest. If you say Winglow, I'm gonna beat you up.
No. Okay. Let me be realistic. I personally don't think they're gonna get rid of the bumper cars. I think they're gonna retheme them to something and give them a overhaul. The only reason I don't think they're gonna get rid of them is because a lot of the other sister parks have them, and a lot of the other sister parks like Kings Island and Carowinds, they've rethemed them and kind of remodeled them. So I think we might go that route, but they very well could get rid of it as well. Just like play both sides there, because it is on a beautiful plot of land, overlooking Arthur's Bay, and that's not a plot, you don't really get to see that view unless you go to the bumper cars. So I mean, it would be actually really cool there. I think I would genuinely personally prefer a restaurant or some kind of a pavilion overlooking that over the bumper cars, but I don't ride them. But no, I think that they are going to retheme the bumper cars to something more suitable in the area. I think 2027 is going to be really interesting. I'm not 100% convinced yet that 2027 there will be a major attraction. I think it's either 2027 or 2028. I think and this is, I don't know anything, by the way. This is just what I think in a pipe dream. Or can I go for full out what I think?
Go full out.
I think, maybe they announce the closure of Flight Deck at the end of 2026. And they prepare that plot of land, right? They get rid of it. And then in 2027, 2028, they start construction on another major attraction.
What is this attraction?
Wow. Okay, we're not going to get into. It's going to be an attraction, okay?
What is that?
It's going to be a watch wing coaster. It's going to be a watch.
Surya, why do you
No.
so much?
Okay.
No, guys, don't let him get away with this.
B&M invert. I changed B&M invert.
No. Why do you want a wing coaster so much?
Because they're
I want the old Surya back.
They're eye-catchy. This does too. I don't know. They're eye-catchy. I think it's a capacity machine. I think they could market it really well. Now, granted, Yukon, acts like a wing coaster. But okay, well, you're not letting me finish. My God, did you guys see that?
So needy.
Why do I not think we're going to get a hotel? Maybe we will in 5-10 years. But, and this is something we kind of talked about, right? And it's public, information that Wonderland's attendance has kind of, declined a little bit.
Say it ain't so.
It has, compared to 2022, 2023, 2024, have all been kind of declining. I think Alpen Fury is going to help with that, but it might not be enough, right? Or it might bring levels back up to what they were pre-pandemic, or, even in 2022. But I think investing in a hotel wouldn't be something that would appease the masses, right? Because I don't think that would draw in crowds. And I think at this point in time, Wonderland wants a little bit more people. They want the higher riderships. They want more season passes sold. I don't think a hotel at this time would sell more season passes. I think Alpen Fury is a really good start, but I think if they got one more major marquee attraction, really big attraction up there with Alpen Fury and Leviathan and the other two B&Ms, I think that would be better for the park in the short to midterm and sell a lot more season passes than a hotel ever would.
I'm about to read him to filth.
Oh no!
So Surya, you think a big marquee attraction's coming sometime soon? Do you not?
Yeah.
So, as a business, do we open the hotel 2 years after this marquee attraction, or do we open the hotel with the marquee attraction?
Okay, wait a minute now. How big would this hotel be though? Would it be just like a Marriott, or would it be like what are we talking here when you say hotel? Because ain't no one cares about if a Marriott's coming to Kingswood. Like, is
Why
it
did you have to drag Marriott like that? Marriott's just over there
No.
existing right now.
like Motel 6 or something? What's going on here? Like, are we getting like a breaker style resort?
Marriott's like literally operating like there's some like innocent person just working and you just drag them to
Or
fill.
Spring Hill Suites or whatever Carowinds got. Yeah, it's nice, but it's small. Nobody cares about it.
All right, sir. Yeah, I'll paint my vision. We're standing over at Kingswood right now. Okay, it's not like COVID times where we're lined up and forced back there. Okay, we're standing over there by choice because it's a beautiful, Great Wolf Lodge.
Yeah, somebody just said Great Wolf.
Great
We are
Wolf
not.
Lodge with a water park. And
There's 100 people left.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
holy shit! I upset that.
Yeah,
many
nobody
people.
cares about the hotel.
Okay. I know how to get them back. We're gonna get a Top Thrill 3.
Oh,
Top
that's
Thrill 3.
King to Cod too.
Top Thrill 3 is coming to Canada's Wonderland in
Oh,
2027.
confirmed. You heard it here first from.
And it's not going to be sit-down cars. It's going to be flying cars.
Wow, flying right into the hotel. Nobody cares about a hotel, Brent.
Enthusiasts don't care about a hotel.
What is the whole of general public?
Why
gonna
does Cedar
sleep-
Point get 8 hotels, but Wonderland doesn't get
Because
one?
look at what Cedar Point has. Look what Cedar Point has. We need to get to that level, and then we can think about accommodating the 10 people who may want to stay on property.
Oh, man.
I think we need. You want me to be honest? I think before we can actually be like, well, okay. When you say hotel, do you? No offense to Marriott. Do you mean like a Marriott? There's nothing wrong with them. I stay in them. They're nice hotels. Do you mean like a Marriott, or do you mean more like a Breakers, like more of a resort style hotel?
Okay, first of all, mister,
We're gonna clarify.
You're anti-hotel right now, but I recall getting a text message from you about a month ago being like, well, I think you might be right about the hotel now.
Yeah.
And you sent me a screenshot of something.
I did.
So Mr. Anti-Hotel, who was all up in my DMs a month ago. Oh, man. I think there's a reason. I think a hotel's coming. That's all I'm going to say. We're not going to expose anything right now, but I think a hotel's coming. I think it's going to be like Breakers, maybe with a water park.
Do you think, though, it's going to come that early, or do you think we could see it more 2029,
No,
2030?
yes. So I think they're going to announce it at the thing. That's a weird hand gesture. There's a reporter that just got exposed with that. I think they're gonna announce it this year. I think what parks do, like Dollywood. Oh, $200 million are coming to Canada's Wonderland over the next 2 to 3 years. And then, everyone's all upset. I'm all jumping up and down doing construction updates on logs being delivered and, plumbing being dug for our beautiful Marriott hotel in Kingswood.
A beautiful Marriott hotel. I'm going to be up there with a sign. What is that?
And around the hotel, they'll build a little Planet Snoopy just to upset Surrey even more. No wing coaster.
Yeah, 3 people are going to go. 3 people are going to go to that. So, okay, let's say, when do you say? At the end of this year, they announce it. Well, let's say in August or September, whatever their announcement day is, they announce, hey, we're getting a $200 million, investment in the next 5 years, right? Mm-hmm. When do you think, if we were to get a hotel, that would actually come?
I think it would take 2 years to build.
But when would they start? Would they start now, or would they wait?
I think they're about to start.
You think?
That's my honest prediction. I think we're going to see Kingswood come down at the end of this season.
And then,
If not, maybe sooner. I don't think PDI Presley's leaving.
be 100% honest, though. Do you think Wonderland has enough... I don't know how to say this. Enough, like, world-class attractions to merit a Breaker-style resort at the moment?
Okay, I'm going to insult the French right now. what do the people in Quebec have to do other than come here and go to Canada's Wonderland? People in New York, Wonderland has, this is like, honestly, like, I'm not saying this to be funny anymore. Like, Wonderland has the possibility to draw in people. And yes, you are right. We do need one more major attraction. We've talked about that a lot. And I'm getting yelled at again. We need to build one more coaster. But I think with that, you can't, Wonderland in the past, and I think we literally just talked about this today or yesterday. Wonderland has always been, so if you study business or you understand business, there's this thing called don't react. Like when something happens, don't immediately react. Sit down, study, prepare, and be ready for next time. Wonderland has been, ever since Cedar Fair has taken over, in a constant state of reaction. They are too slow. Coming out of COVID, someone said this to me the other day. I think it was TPM Vids. It was TPM Vids. He said it the best way you could possibly say it. They messed up with COVID. Guests having to line up all the way to Kingswood, and it continued after COVID. Yeah. It was still happening after COVID. That was a slow reaction time. That was not being prepared. They saw it happen through COVID, and they took very little action to resolve it. Food, another thing. And this isn't me dragging them. This is me honestly providing some pretty constructive, just like my thoughts. They're always a little too slow to react. Building rides. They started building flat rides. They weren't studying what has the shortest queue lines in the park right now? What are people really after when they come to Canada's Wonderland? Well, most people have been craving something bigger, something better, something faster, something different. And that's not even just enthusiasts. But they've been too slow to react. Alpen Fury, we were going to get a wing coaster. I'm sorry, we were. We were going to get a wing coaster. That was the original plan. You can tell. Like, you said it yourself. Like, we still don't have all the track. This is a last-minute change of plans. The park won't admit it. I'm sorry. But it was a last-minute change of plans. Was the plan always this plot of land? Yes. Yeah. Like, that's assumption. This is all assumption-based, by the way. But they changed their mind because it wasn't working. For the first time ever in a while, Canada's Wonderland took the step in a right direction. And it's because of their new leadership. And it's not necessarily new leadership. It's people being put into the roles that they deserve to be put in. Mm-hmm. Heather Hill, such a great leader. We have that new guy from St. Louis. Grace being promoted into the role she is. She has so much passion for the park and its development and its history. And people are finally in the positions that they need to be in. And, even Peter, he's got support now. He's got Brent, who's now like the head of maintenance and construction and planning. There's a lot of really talented people. And he helped build Ferrari World. Yeah. So they finally have people in place. And you guys don't even know yet. Patreons know. I'm going to spill some tea right now. They're building a new restaurant for you guys. Well, they're redeveloping a restaurant into an indoor restaurant right now, okay? That is another step in a beautiful direction to resolve those complaints that people have had. More indoor spaces to escape the heat, to escape the cold. Better food options. The park is already teasing some really good food. I can't even remember how she worded it. You watch the interview. I was so focused on Alpen Fury. I think she said that a third-party company was also helping them develop a menu for the park.
Was that like for the Alpen Fury themed?
I think so.
Items,
I recently heard Tiny Tom's is apparently launching a Alpen Fury donut.
Oh, that's gonna be cool. Tiny Tom's is great.
But the park is finally taking steps in the right direction. Alpen Fury is a really good example of that. So their maintenance bay, they built not only the maintenance bay to service Alpen Fury, but they designed it to service other rides as well. They built it so big that they can service other roller coaster trains in there as well. It's great storage space. On top of that, while building Alpen Fury, they've built that other level. And if you guys were paying attention earlier, we were just talking about when they build a water attraction, they typically build a dry park thing. Well, the park in a media tour, 6 months ago? When was that, Jake? When was our last media tour?
Was it September?
The announcement, August 16th. Well, they told us that we were going to get a dark ride in the mountain, in that they were doing that. Well, it's probably going to be the Alpen Fury ride. I know we all want to scream and swing, but what else would that dark ride fit into?
And in the mountain, a dark ride like that would be good for Winterfest.
Yeah, exactly. So there's planning ahead. On top of that, like you see survey markings last year before the end of the year all over the park, literally all over. If you look, they're there, and there's new ones in the parking lot, which are quite interesting. And Caden found them actually, but it's exciting. Like the park, like when I tease on my story, obviously, you know, amusement insiders, we have to be a little dramatic, capture attention, you know, like that's what YouTube is. We obviously word things to capture your attention, but there isn't much attention grabbing with this. Like I truthfully, eye to eye, am telling you that Canada's Wonderland has some, like, and I don't know them. This isn't me being like, oh, I know what's coming. But just based off of what we've seen, what we've been hearing from the park themselves, teasing it, talking about it, there is some serious love, like the best way to word it is love, coming to Canada's Wonderland. And it's perfect timing because, unfortunately, attendance numbers are heading down. And with a park that they know can achieve greatness, they're going to be able to stop it. It's going to be quick. It'll probably be 2-3 years until they'll swindle it around. And there's going to be an amazing attraction to probably accompany whatever is going to go in Kingswood. Whether it's a big roller coaster and it's just that, no hotel, or it's a hotel and a big roller coaster. Something's coming. It has to be. And Alpen Fury is going to be a top. I do agree it's going to be an amazing ride. I don't think it's clickbaity enough for the general public. And I think we are due for that clickbaity massive attraction, whether it's going to be an RMC in Medfair or another multi-launch extreme spinner somewhere else, or
Top Thrill 2.
Yeah, Top Thrill 2, like Red Dragon, whatever you call them. Red Force.
If we got something like that, we wouldn't need to get anything else.
And it's great because I'm not even saying this to like just calm you guys down, because as enthusiasts, it's been frustrating to watch a little bit sometimes, right? B&M after B&M after B&M. We were getting quite exhausted ourselves, to be just a little transparent. Like, it has been frustrating to just get B&M after B&M after B&M, but I think we forget where we once were. Like,
y'all complain about Leviathan, Behemoth, and Yukon. Do you remember Paramount when the fastest ride in the park, I think, was Flight Deck?
Yeah.
It was either Flight Deck or Vortex was the fastest ride in the park before Behemoth was built. Take that in.
Yeah.
Take that. The smoothest roller coaster in the park before that was Backlot Stunk. Take that in.
Yeah. And another really interesting thing to talk about is we've seen all these ride removals taking place at Six Flags Parks.
Yep.
Time Warp isn't a part of that, by the way. Time Warp is not one of those rides that are just being removed because it's too expensive to operate. It's a part of a plan. And that was something the park confirmed as well. So it's interesting. Wonderland is, you know, we probably obviously have more ride removals coming that maybe aren't exactly part of, you know, plans. But World Expo is obviously next in line, which is exciting because it's, and I know I could only imagine how excited Grace is because she's such a historian for the park, which is when you see Grace, like, I think the reason I really love who's running the park now, even the social media team, is you see the passion in their eyes when they talk about Canada's Wonderland, and it's just so awe-inspiring to see the right people, and it's mostly a female team now. Like, truthfully, it's a mostly female team running that park in a lot of those positions. Obviously, you have your maintenance people and your thing, and I bet you they could find a female leader for that too. But the people who are running that park right now all care. They all care. And I'm really excited to see that.
And it shows too, because it seems like, you know, like with a ride like Alpen Fury, all the complications that would come with building something like that, you know, when you have like, you know, 400 footings that you need to put in front of all these active pathways, your utilities you got to move, building inside the mountain, reinforcing the structure. Like, they could have gone the easy route, right? Okay, let's be realistic. They could have built a wing coaster, a 200-foot wing coaster, and some plot of land back behind the water park or somewhere. That would have been 10 times easier because it's just plug and play. You pour a footing on flat ground, and you go up and down, you do the B&M thing. Mm-hmm. It's easy. They could have built that in 8 months. But it seems like they've almost pushed for something like Alpen Fury. They're like, no, we want this. This is what we need. This is what we want. This is our vision. We're going to do it. We're not going to take the easy way out. You know, when they brainstorm, I'm sure, yeah, shoot shooting out of the mountain would be cool. Well, most people would be like, yeah, look at all the work you have to do. That right alone is probably $10 million reinforcing all of that, relocating things.
Yeah.
And like, I think a lot of places would be like, no, that's too much work. That's too much. Like, no, we need this now. But I would prefer it take a little bit longer, but then get the product that we were supposed to get versus some like cookie cutter, like cop out.
Well,
ride.
and a lot of manufacturers had actually said no to Wonderland. Not all, but there were a lot of manufacturers that were like, we can't do that in the time frame you need that done. So, again, like you look at, we all had low hopes for Premiere. Like we were all really disappointed in Premiere. We were all like, come on, Wonderland, you had that one shot.
Like, where's the Intamin?
But genuinely, this is better than I think 99% of the layouts that Wonderland was probably even could have drawn up. I actually think that it could have been better than what Intamin probably would have presented to Wonderland. Because they would have given Wonderland long trains. No, but think about it. So, no. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
At the beginning of the podcast, you talked about the train design and how it's able to do what it's doing on the layout because of that train design.
Yep.
What if we had an 8-car train by Intamin, or even a 6-car train? Could it do what it currently does?
No, it can't.
So, like, yeah, there's some flaws. Your shins will be poked a little bit during the ride. Yeah, it'll have something pressed up against your shin for a minute and 20 seconds. Your shin will have a little feeling of something touching it. But in exchange, you have a no over-the-shoulder restraint ride experience that is trying to knock you off the ride. Not literally, because it's impossible, but it's going to feel like you're riding one of those bowls, mechanical bowls at a bar.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be more excited. I think we got probably the best thing that could have happened in that plot of land.
For that plot of land, yes.
Yeah. Now give us an
100%.
Intamin Wonderland.
Yes, please, Velocic, please, please.
Oh, the lockers. Okay.
You know what though? I think it's a good thing. A lot of people are getting upset. I think it's a good thing.
It is. And the park made sure to explain to us in detail why they were doing what they were doing and what was going to happen over the years. But I guess some information that we'll explain to you, not in full detail, obviously, that Yukon Striker and Alpen Fury will both feature this no bag policy in the queue line, and they will both have lockers. So all bags will have to go in the lockers, and they'll have smaller bins. So Yukon will transition to just the hold the cell phones, and Alpen Fury as well. Alpen Fury will have bins. And bins like Yukon, but just for cell phones.
Like cell phones, keys, wallets.
And unfortunately, they will be paid. And I believe Matt, what was his name that used to be head of rides? Matt Clark explained something to you, and I remember this, about why Wonderland has to charge for lockers. Do you remember that? I remember it.
It was something about like the rental costs for the locker and stuff like that.
But that also doesn't make sense because they could eat the cost.
I guess when
but
said
the money has
like,
to go to the lockers, right? There's like a portion,
And he said when it was that many too, when they were originally, apparently this has been like discussed, like ongoing discussions, and what he quoted was that with the amount of lockers that would be needed for every attraction that they wanted to do it at the time, the amount of money it would cost a lot of money because the park wouldn't own those lockers. They would just like kind of rent them out. And he said it was always a balancing act because their intention isn't to make money. They don't want to come across as it's an upcharge attraction because even they know it's wrong. But yeah, so at that time they never ended up doing it for that reason.
Yeah.
But a lot has changed since that time in terms of, like the way rides can operate and stuff like that, right? And I think something that the park has really done good at receiving on feedback are wait times in the queues, right? A little bit longer wait times than maybe the rides were experiencing 5-6 years ago. And sometimes it's, different operating constraints and stuff. But a really big thing is loose articles on the platform, and we've all seen it. We've all seen, that one person holding up the train because they have to go put their bag in. Oh, I have to go put something else in the bag, and then that's an extra 15, 20 seconds per cycle. And if you add that up over the hour, you can be down like 10, 11 cycles. And on rides like Leviathan, that's 300, 350 people that could have gone if there were just no loose articles. That changes your wait time from an hour to 40 minutes. Which I think is a pretty big thing.
It is. And when you have people constantly complaining about, oh, the lines are ridiculous, the lines are ridiculous.
Or you're sitting on the brakes for, why am I sitting here for 3 minutes?
Leviathan.
Behemoth.
Sorry. But yeah. The fire effect. What was scary is the park didn't seem like they knew what they were going to do with it.
I had to be honest, I was very skeptical of that, but they kept saying it.
They're doing it, so the confirmation is they're doing it, but they don't know how they're doing it.
You think it's going to be like the animation, the train's going to come out and it's going to be a timer and it's just going to like blast out at the top of the mountain?
Yeah, but it's got to blast out after the train's well gone, or it's got to be at a far distance from the ride and then wind, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's...
Like, I wonder how close to it, because it's blasting out. What if the fire effect is like on one of the peaks or something?
It's
like 30, 40 feet away.
And then they have to fire, cool like, protect, like... Can you imagine? You come back into the break run and then
it's all
like, on fire. And yeah, Vortex is there too, as someone just stated. Coaster Bay. But what's really interesting to me is from the drone, the fly is ugly. Ugly. Like she be like literally like no color to her track anymore. And I asked, are there any paint upgrades coming to that area? And no.
No.
Like, that disappoints me a little bit because the area, like, the fly doesn't fit into Frontier Canada. It doesn't fit into Alpen Fest. Make it fit into Alpen Fest.
That could be a part of maybe a re-theme later on.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so.
Sense.
And if that takes priority over Behemoth too, then
no, wait a minute now.
Like, this is where, like, I just wish that there was a little more. We see Raptira, and we're not going to get anywhere close to that.
That queue line, like, Alto Ryan, he did a video. If you guys, obviously most of you probably know him, but go check him out. Great content creator. He does really good stuff. When they was doing, like, the walkthrough of the queue line, that's friggin' nuts to think about. That's coming from, like, not saying anything bad towards Six Flags or Cedar Fair or Legacy Parks, but that's coming from like, the people who own Wonderland. That level of theming. And that's up there with, like, SeaWorld and Busch Gardens level theming, if not better. Like, they went all out with that.
Yeah.
So we know they can do it. We know they've done it.
We get themed footings.
Oh, that's actually
for the first time ever. Our footings are going to be themed.
Nine footings are going to be themed. 9 footings are going to be themed.
I'm joking about it now, but when I see it in person, I'm going to absolutely love it. I'm not impressed by the shingles I see going on, the buildings, the way they look right now. Like, I'm a little underwhelmed. Like, a little underwhelmed. I thought, with how important this ride was, the area, I was expecting a little more. Honestly, I was expecting a little more. Oh, this is death about to take me out. But again, they did say it was a multi-year thing.
And do you think with other things going on, like they did Leviathan's Chain at the end of Winterfest, start of the season, the Mindbuster retrack, that's a project on itself, a huge thing they're doing there.
Yes, so they're prioritizing money Fury, elsewhere, yes, which is smart to give Peter a lot of credit there. At the end of the day, I'm sitting here, but would you rather a little more theming in Alpenfest or a half retract Mindbuster?
Over 1,000 feet retract and like 960
feet. We're being corrected by Jake.
Retracted and smoothed and out like under 1,000 feet.
Like I said, Amusement Insiders, we over-exaggerate everything just for dramatization. Over 1,000 feet of... Jake's like, well, it's actually 960 feet, Brendan.
Over 950 feet retract.
It's over 959.
There we go. But there's been like a lot of other, I don't know if you call them like like they're probably like housekeeping projects, right? Now I remember Peter said something on one of the Ace tours. It's like they have like a list of things that they want to do, and then they have a list of things that need to be done. And sometimes it's a balancing act between everybody wants to do, okay, we want this, but then they look back at the list of things that need to be done, and it's like, no, we have to prioritize this because, you know, at the end of the day, there is no such thing as infinite budget, right? And time constraint. Time is another big thing. Like, even if, you know, Wonderland had like $100 million just drop in their lap, well, they still need the manpower. They still need all of this. They have to budget those kind of resources too.
Yeah.
So,
And just to like touch on this whole, because I've seen some people commenting on the comment section of Wonderland's things about Wonderland being an American-owned business and we shouldn't support it this year. Just to touch on that a little bit, Wonderland employs, what is it, 4,500? How many people?
5,000.
5,000 Canadians. On top of just that 5,000 Canadians that it employs, look at all the contractors in that park right now. All those small, and they hire small businesses
local.
too. Small local contractors that they have hired to operate that. And there's large amounts of them in that park right now.
And the amount of tax revenue Wonderland generates for the city of Vaughan.
Yeah.
And just tourism, like the amount of people they bring in from other surrounding municipalities.
Exactly. If you close Wonderland tomorrow, those businesses all around Wonderland would suffer.
Oh, 100%.
Popular Pizza.
The Wendy's and stuff. Yeah, they change their hours based off, they make up their operating hours based off Wonderland's schedule.
Yeah, so I would fight tooth and nail to protect that American business any day. That American business is very vital to the Canadian economy and the local economy.
And, you know, while we were there on the tour, there were actually some people from the States, right? There was one employee from the States, and she was really enthusiastic about getting to work with Wonderland. She also recently got a new promotion. Her home park was Valley Fair, but she said she loves it at Wonderland. She loves working up here. She loves everything that the park stands for and is doing. So, like, there is still that support and stuff from the U.S. counterparts.
Yeah.
Chipotle's there too.
Chipotle, very important.
The lady from Valley Fair, amazing lady. Oh, I know who you are now, W Coasters. I know who you are. Santa's Village. Well, their track went vertical.
Oh, that station actually looks really nice.
I know. I hope our station. I know our station's gonna look amazing. That's the one thing that.
I hope so.
We were in the same tour group, so I hope so. Yeah, it's who I said it was.
What's going on about Santa's Village?
Vertical, beautiful station.
What's Marineland?
Marineland's becoming
that?
homes. No, I'm kidding.
What is this? Condos.
It's where we're going.
Condoland.
We're gonna be shipped there.
Shamu.
What happened with the lighting package?
Any word on the nets?
Then it's gonna. Okay, so this isn't confirmed by the park, but it's gonna have nets.
It's gonna have to.
They're not gonna have metal detectors, which means they can't guarantee no loose articles, which means TSSA is gonna be like nets. It's unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah, Peter did say that that they're gonna provide bins for your small items like phones, car keys, wallets, and like glasses, anything that can fit inside a pocket. But because there's no metal detectors, technically people can still bring, I guess, stuff onto the ride, even though they shouldn't, because they're providing a way to store your articles. So I think, yeah, they're gonna have nets too.
Yeah, I learned right now that I have to go back to the eye doctor and get a new prescription. I can barely see the writing. I feel. What else happened? Oh, what valley today?
Oh my, yeah, vertical velocity. Okay, it valleyed, it rolled backwards, but and we were talking about this, Jake. Every valley on vertical velocity has a launch,
So
and
they're
I think they did that specifically
I would
for
love
that
that.
reason.
Oh,
It looks
I'm now not as excited for a rollback on Alpen Fury now that we know how it's gonna happen.
That's gonna be well. I mean, it makes sense though. Do you want to explain the rollback procedure? People might.
Yeah. Oh my God, how is it gonna stop in time with that short little launch?
So the cool thing with
Don't stop talking.
Okay. The cool thing with
I'm doing the podcast.
the cool thing with LSMs is that when they're in a neutral position or in a state of neutrality, that means there's no power to them. They act as eddy current brakes, right? So they act as the standard braking fins or whatever. So when you roll back on Alpen Fury, if you roll back, it's going to be like slamming into the brake run. It's going to be a hard stop. It will be a very hard stop. Yeah, you'll definitely feel it's not dangerous, but you'll definitely feel it.
Especially if we're in the back.
That's where we're allowed to ride.
Imagine we're in the front and we just get stuck right at the top like this.
Backline! That's at a different part. Okay. What was Peter telling you? When it rolls back, then it's going to stop.
It's going to stop. You'll be evacuated and they'll test the ride.
So when they test the ride, though, they're obviously going to have to swing it.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how else? Unless that launch is that powerful.
If it's that powerful, yeah, melt the train.
And it takes more energy to move an empty train.
Yeah. Well.
No.
Because it carries less momentum going up.
Well, if it's operating, yes.
Yeah.
But if it's
No, empty train is easier to launch, to accelerate.
It loses momentum faster.
So they just have to accelerate it faster.
So it's harder.
Don't look at me. I'm a business person.
I don't think so.
I'll throw Ryan said it.
Okay, if he said it, then I'll take that.
trust
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
If
yeah.
it came
If
around
I'll
to
tell
Ryan.
Ryan, I'll take it. I'll take it. Done.
But no, it makes sense what he's saying though, because
Like dragster requires more energy to launch.
a
So,
heavier
okay,
train
yeah,
goes
yeah.
faster,
Yeah.
right?
Your
Well,
train
what-
carries more weight going up.
That's true. It has more momentum. Yeah.
Yay!
Woo! Momentum.
So if you fill the train on Alpen full of heavy people, you get a hauling ride.
Why is he looking at us when he says that? I don't see any heavy people in this room.
Yeah, you know what? That's another thing. I think I might only for a little while until my diet really starts showing. I think I'm only gonna sit on the front of each car. Because
I said that's a great.
I don't. This is a fair warning. You know, if you're kind of built like me, before you get on Alpen Fury, make sure your pants are fully pulled up.
I left that awkward clip in my full tour, an hour-long video. I left it in there on purpose so you guys can see that it is a little awkward to move side to side. But once you're sitting, it's great. Truthfully.
It actually is very comfortable.
Wonderland paycheck.
Oh, where's mine? No comment.
What?
Jake wanted to say something.
What do you say?
They're just smiling. Do you believe a coaster will go at Time Warp's Plot of Land? Yes.
Do I believe a coaster will go in Time Wars? What is it? Like Kitty likes...
Well, okay, maybe that Plot of Land will be eventually used for a roller coaster.
They're gonna start testing.
Tomorrow.
Woo! Really good quality rides testing tomorrow.
Yeah, it's great. If you want to watch coasters test, go next weekend. But don't go on park property.
Is there anything else? I feel like there was.
Should we start our question period?
Yeah, and if it comes back to us, we can.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one thing. I have a comment to make. Sorry.
Okay.
I saw Great Adventures map, and it's very disappointing. All the empty space where King Dakar used to be. I'm a little sad. Feel sad for them.
Period.
But I also think in the next 5 years, Great Adventure is also going to be one of those parks that get $200-300 million.
Yep.
Because they just lost 9 attractions.
Yeah. And their restaurant renovations were really nice. I saw some of the photos. They have an executive chef now too.
You see, okay, the cool thing with Great Adventure, and we're in the same kind of category, and I think even Kings Island could be looped into that category too. They tried it with Carowinds, and it kind of failed with Carowinds, if I'm being honest. But maybe for the other parks, it'll be different. For Great Adventure and for us, I think it'll definitely be different. Is look at the population centers those parks are built in, right? Especially like, okay, Toronto and the GTA, you have 8 million people, and we only have one amusement park. So we kind of have the monopoly here. Great Adventure, they're in between Philadelphia and New York City. Like, you know, they're like an hour and a half away from both of those major metropolitan areas. Even Kings Island, you have Cincinnati right there, and then Dayton to the north. Like those are really big population areas, and I think those parks could show a lot of attendance growth if they did it properly.
No one can compete with Hershey Park anymore. Hershey Park in that area is too far ahead of the mall now.
You think even if Great Adventure got the world's... you...
They're probably going to sell Dorney Park.
Iron Menace is a good ride.
Oh. Is that?
There's no rattle rolling out of the station.
There's no rattle rolling out of the station?
It's a high-quality B&M attraction.
Well, he likes his Chinese steel B&M coasters now.
No. Wait, okay, let me ask you this. Let's just say Great Adventure said they're getting a world record-breaking launch coaster in 2026.
They did say that.
They did. Yeah, no, that's why I said. No, I said they did say that. So,
What's crazy is we haven't seen construction start yet.
Girl, they just blew up the tower. That whole park is half of it's a construction site. What do you like? What?
I've never seen someone so triggered in their life.
Like, what do you mean there's no construction?
I love how every couple of weeks now we get a new angle of it blowing up. I'm just gonna start sending these to you randomly.
The Giga in Texas, is it going to be sorry, that dive is in Texas, is it going to be a Giga?
I think it's going to be the steepest.
I'm not saying anything because if I say it's gonna be a giga, it's not gonna be a giga.
I don't think a dive coaster can be much faster than Yukon Striker without experiencing
It'll
problems.
tear itself apart.
Wow, really?
Tell them fanny packs won't be allowed on that.
No,
We
fanny
don't know
pack.
for sure, but I don't think.
Size items.
Yeah, I don't think fanny packs will be allowed.
That's what they said.
Pocket-sized items. Now, if you get a fanny pack and you don't fill it all the way, and you can stuff it into your pocket.
Or put it underneath it.
Yeah, that's true.
Will there ever be double-sided lockers at Wonderland? Any word on a lighting package?
I have a question.
There will be lighting. I don't know if a lighting package is quite it.
Tunnel.
Yeah, that's where it'll be.
Like a strobe effect.
And then obviously there are lights that shine up at the coaster for night to showcase the best ride in the park.
So you've moved on from Yukon?
Did I ever like Yukon more than Leviathan?
No, he just liked to bother me.
I didn't ride it once last year.
How many times did you ride Leviathan last year?
And you know what's funny? There's so many people who try and trigger me in the community about dissing
Yeah, they
Yukon,
do.
and I sit there just laughing at them, like, so you fell for the joke.
Yeah, do you know? Oh, yeah, you guys know. You know what Brendan's most ridden ride of 2025 was? Or 2024?
Oh yeah, answer. What did I ride the most?
Oh, yeah, what did he ride the most?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I'm gonna
crazy.
be one of those 400-pound enthusiasts that just ride.
The construction site, how was that?
Really cool.
That was incredible.
The
yeah.
mountain was insane. What?
You gotta say the question. They don't hear.
How was walking through or being instructed by our overlord Jake over there? Yeah, the channel's owned by Jake now. By the way, we're just actors.
We're paid. Oh, I'm not even paid.
He's got a whip back there. And
Yeah.
he's threatening us. That's a Q-tip. It
How was walking through the construction site?
was really cool.
What was your favorite part about it?
I think the moment when we saw that little on the wave turn.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like that was when it hit me. We have a win on our hand. It's like a little ejector airtime bump.
100%.
Like on what looked like not even the boringest because you were going to be going fast, but what looked like the element with nothing on it from the drone now is going to oh wow,
Have that little
Yeah.
It's going to be unexpected too, so that's pretty cool. I think the coolest part for me, and I remember my jaw almost hit the floor, was when I saw the black column at the end of the launch, where the launch track is going to be, going out of the mountain, how gargantuan it is, and just how intricate it was, all woven in there, and all the columns there. I'm like, holy,
Did you see all the weird shaped columns
Yeah,
too?
oh my God, who's
I'm
designing
there's
this?
one column that comes off the ground, not even taller than a person, and then angles back down towards the ground, and I'm like, what's that gonna do? What's that for? But no, like it's this coaster. It is. I've said this every part. It is engineered so beautifully, so beautifully. Do you see the supports of that Skyflyer loop right
It's
now?
so methodical,
It
just the
literally
way
looks like
it's so
a Disney. Like
graceful.
Elsa came to the Wonderland. She's
Oh
like,
my
let
God,
it go.
Yeah, us to Leviathan, let it go. No, Leviathan on top.
What was your favorite part of?
Of the track you saw, what was our favorite part of the track we saw during the tour? So what I guess yours would
The
be-
brake run.
If you could add any model to Wonderland, what would it be?
If we could what?
Add any coaster model.
Any extreme spinner.
Intimate multi-launch like Velocicoaster.
That's a good one. Thought you were gonna say wing
Tokyo,
coaster.
yeah,
I was
well,
really
what's
gonna
wrong with
say
that? Just swing launch a wing coaster.
Dude, can they even do that without falling apart?
Without it-
Have you seen the rattle?
What do you think the station's going to
I
gonna
think
look like
that
a
what you
castle,
saw
or-
for Santa's Village is going to be very similar, but done a little bit better.
Do you think Timber Kits is going to do it?
Oh yeah, guys watch their stories. You can tell, like Rockscapes and Timber Kits. They posted something to just try and get them. But yeah, Wonderland even posted a little hidden thing in their confidential video.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
The actual. Ask your questions.
Jake, yeah, my eyes are.
I did a good job answering the.
Dragonfire get removed anytime soon?
They're on a roll with getting those things out, aren't they?
With the arrow, yeah, the arrow loopers. They got rid of vortexes at Kings Island a while back. Anaconda's going. Yeah, I think probably.
Not the Ben we know. It says Alpen Fury would be really good with 5 trains.
Yeah, you can put slide tracks and everything.
Ben,
in
I just
there.
want you to know that Jake had a really upset look on his face as he read that comment to us.
More trains, the more upset Jake gets.
Why don't we just stack them all? Cause him anxiety.
Where will be the on-ride camera?
The exit. So it'll be at the exit of the ride as you're exiting down the train.
These are really good answers, Brendan. Where are you getting them from?
No. No, but if I was to make Jake brought up a good point that when most roller coasters, their on-ride photo is usually located close to the station.
As close as
that was you,
possible.
right? That brought that up? Yeah. So it's probably going to be inside the mountain or at the top coming out. I don't know. It's got to be.
Return, maybe one of the airtime.
Yeah. It's got to be. Because they have to wire it all the way back
Yeah,
to.
to the photo booth.
Yeah.
Which will be at the exit.
That's what when he was answering that question. That's what he thought. Like,
Yeah.
to give him credit, and he was tired.
Will be themed into Alpenfest.
No.
No, the question was, do we think Shockwave will be themed into Alpenfest? Brendan's answer was no.
We're getting instructed by Jake. I didn't see that.
Yeah, Brendan, get it together. I don't want to get yelled at after.
I'm
How long is
upset.
this thing vortex be under that? And would it be replaced by a Vekoma Flyer?
It's not getting removed in like forever.
The question, Brendan.
Oh,
The Brendan.
do we think Vortex is going to get removed from Canada's Wonderland anytime soon? And do we think it's going to get replaced by a what?
Vekoma Flyer.
Vekoma Flyer. No and no.
I think
Elaborate.
Vortex is staying for a very long time. They've put a lot of money into it, and it's still a popular attraction at the park. And there's really nothing wrong with it.
What are the odds we get station music for Alpen Fury?
I think a great chance. I think this might be the first ride where we get a soundtrack. I say that now, but what did I say? An eagle screech at the top?
Oh
You guys
yeah,
say-
mine noises, mine car noises, and there's gonna be lights at the top shining down.
Train track like Maverick. Ding, 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 ding.
That'll be our do 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 do
probably
do
gonna be
do
like-
do 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 do. Yeah, what's it? Fire noise.
And then a week later, it'll stop working.
Yeah, we're gonna stop.
We're gonna stop working.
Vortex has music in the station. They play like Virgin Radio.
How do you think the GP will
The park already knows it's going to go pretty bad. They have to train their guests.
Yes, they do.
Do you think one of our next coasters will get onboard audio?
No. I don't know if that's surveyed well or not in that survey. No,
think
because
it's
it
too
obviously lost the
expensive.
survey. What?
How long is that going to work for?
Siren's Curse is...
Nobody cares about Siren's Curse because Top Thrill 2 is opening.
We're going to love it. I know it. We're going to ride it, right?
Run gonna get refreshed.
I think so. I think that was... The whole area is going to get a refresh.
Yeah.
So. I don't know.
Probably not.
He did say that at an ACE event, though.
Yeah.
Peter, at an ACE event, he did say it was going to get refreshed on the inside.
Are they getting rid of the grilled cheese place?
No.
Is that what someone asked? or
Someone
did you just make up
No,
that
someone
comment?
asked that.
I don't see it.
Oh, Lewis Kent asked that.
Remember when we were fixed on that maintenance tunnel?
Which maintenance
said that
tunnel?
when we were walking through. Remember when we were walking through the maintenance tunnel to exit towards the brake run?
Oh,
and I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
remember when we thought this was an important part of the ride?
Yeah, this was the launch. The launch is coming out of here.
It all makes sense now, and it's so much bigger in person.
Oh, it's huge. It's cavernous.
Like, they can fit stuff through there.
RMC Wild Beast.
Ground up.
Do you think they're going to retract the rest of Mindbuster next year?
Yes, yeah. A spoonful of sugar.
I tried it 1,000 times to see if a wing coaster could get through it.
I remember. Do you remember in Discord?
Where was I?
Dear sir, yeah.
Oh, wow.
This year it's Dear Brendan.
Yeah. Girl, my toe's poking out of my hole.
What year did you guys both start going to Wonderland? Repeat the question.
What year did we both start going to Wonderland? Since I was a baby. My dad was an enthusiast. I don't remember when I was a baby.
I'm going to say religiously when they built Leviathan in 2012. What was your first ride at Wonderland? Or your first roller coaster?
First roller coaster. It was probably Ghoster Coaster or something like that. My first big roller coaster, which scared me forever, and I stopped going. They have a photo of it somewhere in my house of me on the bat. And the photo, you'll see it. I'm just terrified. My dad traumatized me. I remember, you always want to hear a really sad story. I'm super traumatized by it. So if you know me, I'm super shy and anxious, and I don't like people that I don't know. And it takes me a really long time to trust people. Well, imagine me as a little kid getting lost in Splashworks.
That's already funny.
And I had really bad separation anxiety with my dad. So I got lost in Splashworks, and I just remember walking around crying, and people were just staring and everyone trying to help me, and then I had to hold on to a security guy's hand or something and walk around Splashworks until we found my dad. And it was so it sounds so simple, but it was so traumatizing for me.
Do you ever think Backlock's going to get removed?
Absolutely not. It's the best ride in the park.
Send it to Dorney.
I'll send you to Dorney.
Do you think Wonderland is still interested in a wing coaster?
Absolutely.
Will Alpen Fury have single-use fast lanes?
Yes. And single rider line and fast lane. There will be no limit on fast lane.
Do you think Mindbuster's going to get new trains once it's fully completed?
That's expensive.
I don't think so.
Redid the station.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they're gonna purchase them from Gravity Group. That's over $1 million a train.
Do you think they will repaint the mountain?
No, because I like the company. Rockscapes did an amazing job on that peak, painting it it's got this
Yeah.
pinkish, orange, and gray texture to it, and color, and it actually suits it really well. It blends in, even though you can tell it's newer. Blends in, unlike that other company that came in after Wonder Mountain's Guardian and just slapped gray plaster. Rockscapes did up. So I'm super excited. They're going to close up all the holes too. You can see the mesh already during the construction tour. The mesh has gone up around a lot of the holes.
Flight deck rides do you think are going to get removed next?
My honest guess, the Bat, Dragonfire, Riptide, Flight Deck, Soaring Timbers, simply because it's like it's a statue, and Wild Beast and go-karts and bumper cars. That's my list. There's probably a little bit more. Anyone who thinks Timberwolf Falls is getting removed, absolutely not. They spent like
A lot of
money redoing that pool. Now watch, it's gonna get removed next year.
Yeah, nobody actually likes Soaring Timbers.
How many rides do you guys think Surrey is gonna get on Leviathan this year? Or Alpen Fury? Sorry, my bad. He stabbed Leviathan in the back.
No, I would do no such thing. That is still my love. It's just I have to share it with someone, something else.
A new lover.
Is that how you usually love these things?
No. No. Guys, Leviathan will always be my favorite. I love Leviathan. One? Who's commenting one?
One what?
One ride.
Oh.
0.
Sergio, we can't wait for the wait time update times with Alpen Fury.
Oh,
Period.
yeah.
Alpen Fury is a 6-hour wait today, while Leviathan is 30 minutes.
Hey, guys, and what is going on? Go to Leviathan because nobody wants to wait all day for Alpen Fury. Nobody even cares about Yukon Striker anymore. No, I'm
How long do
joking.
you think? Yeah, no, seriously. Even this isn't. I know we shade Behemoth all the time, but Behemoth and Yukon Striker don't get an audience for the first hour.
It's so funny. Sometimes it'd even be 2 hours before the line would be
Yeah.
even 20 minutes long for Behemoth. I think Yukon is worth.
That side of the park needs investments.
More of a first rush, but not as much consistent.
Yeah, they need something bigger over there. I think an RMC would work well in that side of the park.
If
Kingswood.
they want to build a tall one, yeah. And Kingsland.
Imagine Steel Vengeance in Kingswood. Oh my God!
Wait, clip.
Stop,
Somebody
stop,
clip.
stop,
Somebody
stop.
clip. Someone please clip. He always hates on Steel Vengeance. He always hates on it.
Well, after riding Iron Gwazi,
I can clip this. What am I talking about?
After riding Iron Gwazi, I can appreciate Steel Vengeance because of how terrible Iron Gwazi was.
Was it that bad? I heard it's really good.
Why is he so bad? It's like the worst RMC.
The Twisted
This is
Timbers is
such-
better.
This is such weird opinions.
Yeah, Iron
No.
Gwazi, it's too short.
And the elements don't hit on Iron Gwazi.
The only good thing is the death roll and the drop.
And I was sitting on the brake run for 200 seconds.
Oh, and the dispatch.
The dispatches. Let's not get into that.
Do you know I think Wonderland gets overhated on for their dispatches?
I do too, actually.
Even myself, I find myself complaining when I'm sitting on a brake run for 3 minutes, but there's other parks out there that are way worse.
And then there's like Universal, where if you don't sit down in 10 seconds, the train leaves without you.
Me trying to fit into Alpen Fury.
Yeah, it starts rolling, and it's like, I'm not in yet. With Behemoth behind it, I'm saying Steel Vengeance and Kingswood could fit.
Tigress will be better than Alpen Fury.
Who said that?
You know
I want them muted for the rest of the day. No, I'm kidding.
Do you know Tigress is Florida's tallest launch roller coaster?
That's kind of sad.
We just threw shade at Velocicoaster there. They announced that too. As soon as you walk up to Tigress, it's like, aboard Tigress, Florida's tallest launch roller coaster. And it's like, oh, I see what's going on here. Alpen Fury's Canada's fastest launch roller coaster. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
We say it now, but we're gonna be like,
We're gonna-
well, I picture us right now. It's gonna. Okay. I'm saying this again. I think I said this in a podcast before. My Pantheon reaction video.
What is that noise? Oh my God!
Can you imagine my facial expressions on this ride?
No, but-
I'm not gonna have time to think.
That's it. It's gonna go by so quickly. Like it's just gonna be boom, 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 boom.
Trains will be opening up.
And I'm just gonna be sitting there all traumatized.
Yeah, and then after you do that whole ride, you have to crawl out of the train. Your clothes are gonna be falling off.
Imagine a B&M dive at Universal. Do we ever think?
Well, Liam, I think that's wrong. First of all, it wasn't record low attendance in
Something like
2024.
No, it wasn't record low.
Like the Busch Gardens drop tower will become the Wonderland?
Which one? Falcon's Fury?
Falcon's Fury?
No.
Well, Drop Tower, I was like sold on getting upgraded for certain reasons, and
I think
Spinnovator.
they should get rid of it and put a new generation.
That's why I'm starting to wonder. It received zero work to it.
Yeah, we definitely need a new gen drop tower. Well, they're phasing those drop towers out anyways. Even the older, like the gyro drops at Kings Island, Kings Dominion have nothing but, you know.
Well, if you think about it, if you remove Drop Tower, go-karts, and Wild Beasts, it's a whole plot of land for an extreme spinner.
But, you know, every park needs a drop tower, though.
You can also fit an extreme spinner over by Time Warp and Kingswood. You can fit an extreme spinner over
Yeah,
by Whitewater
you
Canyon.
You can fit a wing coaster in all those places, too.
You know, why don't we, while we're at it, that new level in the mountain, why don't we just build an extreme spinner there?
Oh, yeah,
with a
you want?
vertical launch?
Yeah, and then we can build a wing coaster going over the mountain into the fountain.
Splashdown in the
Yeah,
fountain
with
would
a
be
wing.
iconic.
Yeah, and instead of scoops, we'll use our legs.
And then
as a
after about 2
splash.
years, the track can be rested.
Yeah, and fall apart.
And don't forget, kids, don't jump into that fountain. It's
10,000 volts.
The lore is real.
We're regressing. This is not
Like your hairline.
Oh, God. What about your waistline's not regressing? Actually, it is.
I'm down like 36 pounds now, I think.
Yeah, he fits an Alpen Fury.
I do. I fit. It was an emergency diet.
Emergency diet.
Oh,
Oh, God.
Oh, I'm not looking so good right now.
Oh, yeah. He has a lot. Guys, what do you think of his glasses?
Do I look smarter?
There's a hotel coming.
Do you ever see Wonderland getting all out
I'm sorry.
like Hagrid or Ron?
No. That would be all of
Did you see the disappointment on his face?
Hagrid's costed $300 million.
Oh, I'm being lectured by our boss.
Brendan, get it together.
What if people are saying we're confused?
Oh, the question was, do we think that we'll ever get a well-themed coaster like Hagrid's or Tron?
Well, both of those rides costed over $300 million, so no, I do not.
Hotel manager glasses. I would 100% be the manager of that.
Do you have a booking? No, I'm sorry. Sorry, we're not a Marriott.
What's
You
that
can't
Dolores Umbridge quote? I will have order.
just quiet down. Sit 6 feet apart. I will have order. That be you as a ride operator.
I would be terrible. Wonderland would literally need a lawyer if I was a ride operator. Like a guest, the guests are so rude to ride ops. A guest would be screaming at me that I'm not letting them bring their phone on. I would turn away and they'd be like, "Why are you turning away from me?" I would just throat punch. Throat punch.
Wonderland ride operators do not throw punch guests.
I do. Wonderland, if you're ever interviewing me for a job, don't hire me. Me a year from now. I think I'd be a great candidate, the interviewer. Clay. Wonderland, if you're ever hiring me, don't.
Do we think season pass holders will get the lockers for free?
No. Do I? Jake's lecturing me again. Oh my god, I'm gonna fail our audit.
Brendan, we're gonna get canceled
We're
again.
Jake's just gonna go on Reddit.
Dear Brendan.
He doesn't listen to me. Do we think that season pass holders will get free lockers? Are you happy? The answer is no. You can buy what's the price of it, Jake? $76 add-on for free lockers. I suggest getting.
That's pretty good.
So I'm not crazy. Did I not say that I?
It was 150.
It might have upped since I first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Double check the price, guys. Double check the price.
Yeah, I was under the impression it was 150. Oh, what is it? What BS do you think?
Brendan the Revenge of the Leviathan guy.
That would be crazy.
Oh. The amount of rides on Leviathan I've missed out on the past 2 years.
Will Alpen Fury have vending machines in the queue line?
What?
Welcome to Coca-Cola Insiders. On today's episode, we're going to talk about, will there be Coca-Cola vending machines in the queue line of Canada's Wonderland's newest roller coaster, Alpen Fury? Surya, what's your opinion on that?
I think this is a pressing matter, and this is more important than figuring out what else is going on. Who cares about continuing building the ride? We got to get the Coca-Cola machines in there right now.
What will people do when they're waiting 8 hours for a roller coaster without a refreshing 600 grams of sugar beverage?
For $6.99 per can. That probably won't even be cold.
And occasionally we'll do 2 bottles of water for $14.
Wow, we're not helping. You can get a pizza for $6.
That's what they're doing. They're going to build a pizza midway through the queue line for people like you and me.
Oh, well, I'll screw Leviathan. I'll ride Alpen Fury all day if there's a pizza there.
And there we go. Someone with a really good question. Will there be bathrooms in the queue line? That is the question we all are wondering, because with my current habits, I need to go to the washroom every 30 minutes.
It's true, but there won't be because this isn't Universal or Disney.
And if you exit the queue line, you can't re-enter.
Wow. Imagine. There's going to be these signs posted, and you have to read the signs.
Yeah, read the signs,
Read the
everyone.
signs.
Will there be bullets in the Alpen Fury queue? Butlers.
Only for the privileged.
The fast lane line. I hope they do. I can't say that's terrible. I don't actually mean what I was about to say. But at Kings Island, they have
a separation wall on Orion. Guy, it's so true. So you walk in Orion, and it's not even like it's a separate queue. It's the exact same staircase, but they built a stainless steel or aluminum corrugated wall in between the regular line and the fast lane line, and we call it the separation wall. And we're not joking. Orion did it. Go look at a video of Orion's queue.
Don't look at me, peasant.
It's like an 8-foot tall wall, and you're every now and then you'll hear knocks on them from the other side, and it's like the land beyond.
That scene from Lion King. Where's that, Dad? We don't go there.
Gated, yeah, it's a real thing. If you've been on Orion, you know that makes it the best ride in the park.
Orion was built for COVID.
Oh.
I don't know if that's the...
Well, that can't be the reason, because then
that's
you're
not
in the
the
regular
reason.
queue, but yeah. Now I want to see. Wonderland needs a roller coaster like Steel Vengeance. I mean, yeah.
I agree.
Clip.
We need a wing coaster too. We need a coaster like Gatekeeper. If I could bring one coaster from Cedar Point and put it in Wonderland, it would be
Since
Gatekeeper.
Behemoth is so desperate for paint, do we think it will get a retheme?
No. I'm kidding. I did that to bother Jake. Since Behemoth is so desperate for paint, do we think it could get a retheme?
Nope.
Surya, what do you think?
Nope. I think they're going to keep it the same colors for many years to come.
They're going to use a crane to paint it.
There's a crane coming on Monday.
The crane's coming on Monday. It's obviously going to get painted.
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Does Alpen Fury have seatbelts?
No. Does Alpen Fury have seatbelts?
No. It doesn't need seatbelts.
It needs a third train, though. He just collapsed in his chair.
Sure. Okay. I was just told to cause physical harm to my co-host.
Oh.
The producer's getting upset.
Jake just wants to take over Amusement Insiders.
Yeah.
I
I'll
get
be
asked on the regular now. Who's next in line? It's like I'm on my deathbed. The
Who's the
children
next
are all
in line
like,
for the throw?
all my daughters are like, who's next in line? Who's next in line? Who are you putting on the will?
Instead of Behemoth getting a paint job in 2026, it's going to be Alpen Fury.
With that white colored track, it's going to need a paint job in 2026.
what parks will you be visiting this summer? Quite a bit.
Oh, yes.
We went from not traveling to I'm using my passport, but we're gonna get canceled for that.
We have travel
We're not
plans.
going to America.
No,
No,
yeah.
that's being a liar.
Universal.
Universal, Cedar Point, Kings Island. I want to hit up Williamsburg again really
And
badly.
obviously Carowinds.
I'm not going to that trip.
We'll talk. Yeah.
I'll go to Dollywood.
And then we can go to Carowinds.
It'll have a little. It'll probably have shades. There's gonna be a slight indoor queue, but you guys already know that now. You've watched all the videos. So what about Holiday World? It's not quite in my. The wooden coasters are amazing. That's not me crapping on the park, but it's just like for me, like.
Yeah, you don't. The Voyage is the best coaster in the world.
I might do 2 Universal trips. I might want to do Disney too.
What?
I want to. I keep seeing the Star Wars ride. I really want to ride the Star
You're
Wars.
gonna ride Velocicoaster and then never gonna want to do anything else.
I know,
in
but the
life.
Star Wars ride's really cool, and then they got that new
upside down ejector.
They have that
Is Fury really better than Leviathan?
Is Fury really better than Leviathan? No.
Yes, absolutely. Whoever
kidding.
thinks it's not is brain dead. I'm joking, but
Jake's not brain dead.
Fury
Reading the question.
Fury was designed to be better in every single way.
Do we ever think Darien Lake's gonna get anything new ever?
Yes.
They
Do
were-
we ever think that Darien Lake is gonna get something new ever?
Wasn't there a rumor a while ago that they were supposed to get a ground up RMC or Predator RMC'd?
Yeah.
But that never happened. They're gonna get a second train on Ride of Steel one day.
What's the height limit on Alpen Fury? Nah, we don't know yet. They don't know a max height until they run that steel cage. These comments are really delayed. People are just laughing at me talking about the new owner of Amusement Insiders joke.
They might also be behind it.
Oh. Y'all are asking about when something's going to get painted, when we're getting the next coaster. I'm sitting here wondering when our toll booths are going to become automated.
Yeah, when are we gonna get a nice toll plaza?
Right?
Like
we have
at Carowinds.
We have one of the ugliest toll plazas. It reminds me of going to like a barely surviving zoo. And the pick up and drop off area that can handle only 10 cars.
Yep.
They parked there for half an hour.
Hire me, I'll take care of that.
Get them out of here!
Okay, wrap it up.
Oh, our boss is telling us to wrap it
guys,
up.
we're going above the time apparently.
Oh, we're hitting 2 hours. That's why he's hangry.
I just ate Chipotle.
Oh,
Oh, that's
he works tomorrow.
He works tomorrow. At 4 p.m.
Jake, why don't you come over here?
Come here, Jake.
Guys, I'm wearing my top two right now.
Jake's getting upset, guys.
He's upset.
I'm upset. Oh, there goes the studio. Oh my God. You
Guys, I threw the mic on the
He
floor.
did. The producer's upset. Can we like just
Guys, move apart. Thank you.
What do you mean?
Can we see you? Oh, we can see you.
Yeah. Hi,
How cute
everybody.
it is.
Any questions for me? You can ask how my
Yeah,
day
ask
was.
Jake a question. Ask him something about block zones on Alpen Fury.
How many block zones does Alpen
I think it's gonna have 4. I thought about that. It's gonna have the station, the first launch, the first launch to the start of the second launch, and then up to the top of the ride, and where it could roll back, and then the entire ride up into the brakes.
You don't think it's going to be able to hold? Well, it has to stack a train on the brake run.
Yeah, that's including the brakes. So from the
Oh, okay,
top
okay,
of the
okay,
double
okay.
inverting top hat to the brakes is 1. Yeah. Jake's hair is killer. Thank you, guys. I don't get enough compliments about my hair.
Photos about how it used to look like.
What do you want me to say?
Well, you were laughing.
Oh,
What are you doing?
Do we think the Prestige Pass is worth it?
yes. Yes, 1,000%.
Why?
You get comfy couches.
Are you gonna sit inside of the Prestige Lounge? What is?
Yes. How much time are you going to spend in the Prestige Lounge?
A lot of time. This year I'm gonna ride.
Guys, you gotta get some better comments here.
They're a little bit delayed.
They're right on time.
Oh no, you look like Mickey for real.
Say something Mickey Mouse related.
Yes, you
Disappointing.
can get into other parks with the Prestige Pass.
Oh no,
As
no.
long as it has all park passport. Yes.
We don't got people in here saying they need seatbelts, do you? You guys aren't that kind of audience.
Guys, the ride doesn't need seatbelts because the way the lap bar sits on our torso and midsection and the way the shin guards pin our legs from fully extending, it is impossible as long as the restraint is locked down in the correct riding position to fall out. Furthermore,
You have to break limbs.
Furthermore, when you're going around those inversions, you'll be going around them so fast, centripetal force will actually keep you pinned to your seat. So technically speaking, even if that lap bar didn't exist, you still wouldn't fly out because physics would keep you glued to your seat.
Even for us bigger folk.
Oh, the gravity would be even harder on us. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, to amplify.
So we're actually safer.
Oh, well,
good way
yeah,
of
we are
looking at it.
safer because we have more
And if we
mass.
fall out, we bounce.
Yes, yes, yes.
Guys, did you see the embarrassing Blue Jays game today?
You think I saw the Blue Jays game?
What's
It
that?
was their opening game. They lost by 10.
I don't watch football.
Football!
Was that serious?
No, no, it wasn't. Don't worry. Any more questions? Ask a Jake question, guys.
Yeah.
Ask a.
Guys, for the next 5 minutes, try and trigger Jake.
We don't know how much the lockers are going to cost until the park opens. I'm sorry. I saw that comment like 1,000 times sitting back there. We need 5 trains? Absolutely not. It only has 4 blocks.
Yeah, but we could have a 6 train for like maintenance
We
purposes.
could install a turntable.
Oh yeah, turntable and
Where's
slide
that turntable
tracks.
gonna go on the fly?
Like right at the exit, or like the right as you approach the station, there'll be like a turntable.
My hair looks flat, Dylan.
Good job, Dylan.
Mods,
Dylan!
mods,
Dylan, good
mods!
job. Do you know what they're actually going to do for 2026? They're going to build a second layout to Alpen Fury and have it race, and they're going to call it Alpen Fury Racers.
You guys want to hear something funny to trigger Jake? Watch his face really closely. Jake, look at the camera. Jacob is so much smarter than you.
Brendan, now we're going to have to console this.
Chick-fil-A isn't that good.
Do you want to get ice cream, Brendan, after?
Just us?
Just us? Oh no! Don't look at me, look at it!
Sabrina Carpenter isn't that good.
You're the one who got tickets.
Blondes are not better.
Okay, my blonde hair is very pretty, right? You have to say yes.
No comment.
You have to say yes.
I can't speak on the park's behalf.
Sabrina Carpenter is the best.
What else triggers Jake?
Ow. You know, the last time I saw you checking restraints, you were a little slow.
No comment.
Oh no, I think that was too
All
far.
right. Wrap it up.
You went for the heart with that one.
Oh,
he's gonna end the stream. Bye, guys. Oh, do you end it?
No.
Oh.
Oh. Well, that
He was just
dramatic.
threatening
Yeah,
us.
he's not-
We were being
Gaslighting
gaslighted. He's a gaslighter.
I've been used to this.
Okay, they're actually all saying bye now.
Look at Jake, your hair right now. Just like...